Welcome to a quick screencast on getting started with making graphs in Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet program, and it's used a lot for working with numbers by businesses and scientists around the world. There are many features and functions in Microsoft Excel, and we're just going to scratch the very basic surface for getting started. A couple of terms you're going to need to know is that you'll see there's lots of squares down here. Each one of these is referred to as a cell. The cell has an address that's made up of the name of a column along with the name of a row. So the address of this cell is D6. It's kind of like Battleship. All right, now we're going to be graphing our information from our friction, our sliding friction, and our static friction lab. In order to do that, we need to make a data table and enter our values into the data table. So we'll go ahead and put some labels in for our data table. First thing is mass, then we'll do the static friction, and we'll go ahead and put the unit up here. Now you'll notice that it kind of runs over and gets in the way of cell C1, and if we want to put our sliding friction in cell C1, but you notice that it kind of gets hidden and cut off here. So what we need to do is we need to put the cursor right up here between the B and the C, and it turns into this bar with the two arrows, and we can stretch out this column and make it bigger. And let's just stretch out this column and make it big enough to fit that in there. Now, the number one rule of graphing with Microsoft Excel and doing calculations in Microsoft Excel, and this needs to be in your notes. This is the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rule. This is very important. You never mix numbers that you want to graph with letters in the same cell. So you notice here I'm putting 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and we've labeled up here, we've labeled grams, but I did not put 1,000 grams like this. All right, it doesn't work, and a lot of beginning Excel users will make that mistake. So I'll make some data up for this. So let's say it's 2, 4, 6, and then sliding friction 4.5, 5.5, and 7.8. So these are just values that I've made up. Now we need to insert a chart. So you want to go ahead and select your data and insert a chart. Now there's a lot of different types of charts, and a lot of people begin by thinking that they want a line graph, but for some reason the line graph doesn't really work the way that they expect it's going to work. So what we actually want, and this will be a little bit easier on yours because you're going to be using a recent version of Excel, and like magic I've switched over to the most recent version of or the version of Excel you're going to be working with, and you're going to want to use this scatter chart. So I'm on the insert and scatter chart page. Pick one of the ones with the lines. Let's do the straight lines, and it automatically does the chart if you select your data first. So you select your data, go to insert, scatter, this scatter right here. Now, what it's done is it's making 3 lines here, and we want to use this function right here, switch row and column data, and that will make it so that instead of having 3 separate lines, each line with 2 data points, so right now it's graphing, essentially it's graphing 3 lines. It's graphing 1,000, 2, and 4.5. So that's this blue line right here. Then this red line is right here. And this green line starts at 3,000 and then goes down to 6. It looks like it's going to 0, but it's so small in comparison to 3,000 that it's just close there. Now this next one brings us up and identifies this as our X values and these as our Y values. Now we can go ahead up to Chart Tools and do Layout and do a title, legends, title the whole chart, title the axes, etc. And that is the basics for this. So you'll go ahead and print this out with the labels and can turn it in. Let me know if you have any questions. Very important that you know not to mix the units and the numbers in the same one. And you know the name that these are columns, these are rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are rows, and each individual box is called a cell.